In theory, we are live, but I'm still waiting for Zoom to load onto Facebook. So I'm going to start recording. And just in case we are live, hi everyone. How is your Thursday doing? Today I'm really excited because we have Char from
Health by Intuition.
Thank you. I got your name. I got the title wrong once, and now I'm always like worried I'll get it wrong again. So we have Char from Health by Intuition. If you have been watching me since I started this whole coronavirus Facebook Live series, you know that I have mentioned her several times because her grounding meditation is one of the meditations that I always go back to. So I'm really excited that she's here with us today, and she's going to talk about mindfulness and parenting and how that actually works. So hi, Char.
Hi, Denise. Thanks so much for having me today.
Hi.
Well, mindfulness and parenting, it is possible, even though sometimes it feels like it's not. I understand. I'm a parent myself. And when I first became a parent, I felt like all of the meditation tools and things that I had been studying and practicing for years just went out the window. It was like they didn't have the same effect anymore. I couldn't put them into practice in the same way. And so my whole direction has sort of shifted since then, bringing me now into what I'm doing with Health by Intuition, which is more than just mindfulness, but a little energy work. I think we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And different meditations. And so let's talk about mindfulness to begin with. What is mindfulness? Why is it important? And then we'll jump right in and I'll guide everybody on a little practice of what it feels like to be mindful. So mindfulness is a type of meditation. It's a type of meditation that has become very popular in the Western world. It was really put together by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and it wasn't based on nothing. It's very much based on a type of meditation called Vipassana. And it's a style of meditation where we focus on breath, we focus on body sensations, we focus on feelings, thoughts, the physical senses. We can use various different things to really anchor us into the present moment, which in turn helps calm the mind.
Okay, I have a quick question. So is mindfulness the same as being present?
I would use the terms interchangeably, yes.
Just because I do, and then when you were talking, I was like, oh no, maybe they're not the same.
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, if I'm being mindful, I'm being present. It's sort of like to be mindful, I have to be present.
Yeah. And I guess it's also kind of impossible to be mindful and to be thinking about the past or the future, or to be mindful and also feeling. Okay, so this is another question. Can you be mindful and at the same time feel worried and stressed?
So let's talk about it in terms of, it's not so black and white.
Okay.
Right? So there's going to be a scale of mindfulness or a scale of being present. And, you've got over here, which is maybe like full-blown anxiety mode. Thoughts are racing, going, really hard to even feel how the bottom of your feet feel right now. And then you've got over here, which is like full spiritual enlightenment, Zen, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Then.
and so when you think about it that way, like most of us are somewhere in between.
Mhm.
And going back, where are we going with this? With can you be present?
Can you be mindful and stressed at the same time?
So I would say, kind of. If you are being mindful and you're tuning in, you're beginning to
Mhm.
tune into your body, you might still
Mhm.
have those physical sensations of stress. Those are things that we tend to carry around with us. So you might tune in, you might start to feel them. And then over time, as you become more and more mindful, as you keep going within, some of this stress begins to leave.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, when it comes to, let's say your mind is going, either thinking about the future, thinking about the past,
Mhm.
anytime you bring awareness to those thoughts,
Mhm.
like I am thinking about X, that's a mindful moment.
Okay.
So it's essentially you can sort of alternate between the two, flow in and out. And I like to think of it as a spectrum instead of like
Mhm.
this or that.
Yeah. 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 And it's also kind of noticing the difference between stressful thoughts and like stressful physical sensations, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I would say being mindful could be noticing either of those things.
Okay. Yeah. Another thing that I want to say quickly, because you mentioned anxiety and I wanted to say it in the beginning, but I forgot. So ever since we've been allowed to go outside, my daughter has been having we've been having like intense moments in our house. So I've tried to do all these different tips and tools and strategies that I know. And I also reached out to my parenting, I don't know what to call her, consultant. And she actually said that it seems like what my daughter is experiencing is some anxiety. And one of the ways to kind of support her through this is through mindfulness. So I've been trying, and I've tried this like in the past as well, to do like the kid meditations where they're like 5 to 8 minutes long, and they're fairies or they're in the forest or in all of that. And it hasn't been working.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I've spoken about with Char before, where it's like, okay, if you want your children to be more mindful, what one thing you can actually do is just be more mindful yourself. So right now, I've been just focusing on that and trying to be more mindful, especially when I'm around her, and especially when we go outside, just to also kind of like appreciate the fact that we can go outside now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I mean, our children are little sponges. And I'm also with you. My daughter's 3, and she has zero interest in doing mindfulness activities with me. Occasionally, I can get her to focus on her breath.
Yeah.
But I mean, in times where she's really riled up and doesn't want to listen to me at all, like, forget it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a meditation teacher, right? So please don't be hard on yourself for, for not being able to get your kid
Yeah.
to meditate with you. And that said, I mean, we are our children's biggest role models. So the best thing we can do, I mean, also for ourselves, as
Yeah.
well as for
Yeah.
them, is to take that time to breathe, to recenter, to feel,
Mm-hmm.
just allow
Mm-hmm.
things to flow, learn more about
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, learn about our reactions,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, go forward with this increased self-awareness as
Mm-hmm.
much as we can.
Yeah. So you actually have like a 3-minute exercise, right? Like a breathing. Yeah. I'm interested to hear, because just when you said that, I remember I just spoke about this a few days ago, how like one of the tips to like stay calm especially when your kid isn't, is to breathe. And for me, it's like, I'm breathing, it's not working. So I think,
Yeah.
so I think there's a lot more to breathing than just breathing, you know, like, yeah. So yeah. Yes, I think that's what you're gonna like show us now, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't need to talk about it. Let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
All right. So I invite you, Denise, and everyone listening to sit or lay down with your back as straight as possible and just begin to notice your breathing. You're welcome to close your eyes. I like to, it helps me to tap in a bit more. And just begin to notice the qualities of your breath. Notice if it's deep or shallow. Trying not to change it, but simply noticing. And I invite you to bring your attention right into the center of your chest. Really feel how your rib cage expands during the inhalation. And feel how it deflates, coming back in, almost like hugging the center of your chest again. Just take a couple deep breaths, really feeling the sensations here in the chest. And I invite you now to notice any feelings that you have. And they can be physical, they can be emotional. Just notice them and imagine your breath swirling to meet them. Swirling around with them like a little dance. Just allowing them to be there, knowing they were there before, and bringing some focus and awareness to them to the best of your ability right now. And now let's move our attention down into our lower bellies. Feel your lower belly when you breathe. And just really feel that expansion as the breath comes down and fills the lower belly. Feeling it contract and come inwards during the exhalation. Gently bringing the mind back down to the lower belly when it wanders. And let's take one final breath here. Let's really inhale deeply this time. And breathing out with a sigh. And you're welcome to open your eyes.
Yeah, that was very calming.
Good. Yeah, and it's really just about practice. You know, it's about bringing the awareness in, bringing it down, letting the breath anchor you into this present moment. Not thinking about the future that takes us into anxiety, not thinking about the past that brings us into depression, allowing that mind to take all of its focus and bring it right here, right now into the body.
Yeah. And I like how you said as well that it takes practice. So it's like in my case, this is something that I'm working on, right? So obviously I can't expect me to be able to do like 3 breaths in the heat of the moment and
Right.
and immediately calm down. Yeah. If it's not something I do like regularly, or at least like somewhat regularly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, think of it like going to the gym. Think of it like
Yeah.
cooking, all of these skills that we've learned throughout our lives, they've
Mm-hmm.
taken time, they've taken practice. And I really like the example of the gym. You're not going to go to the gym and, just start pumping 20-kilo weights after not
Yeah.
having gone to the gym ever before in your life.
Yeah.
And likewise, if you leave the practice aside for a while, like
Mm-hmm.
it can take a little bit of time to refresh those muscles. And
Yeah.
we have meditation muscle memory also, which is nice. So we can get back into it a little bit faster if we've had that
Mm-hmm.
experience before.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good. Yeah. We're almost out of time. I think there was like another tool or something you wanted to share just to help parents be mindful when their kids are around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a connecting tool. I love this tool.
Yeah.
I start every single mindfulness with baby and small kids meditation class with this exercise, which, by the way, I'm offering for free right now, maybe forever. I haven't quite decided. So you're all welcome to find that on my Facebook page. I'll post about it below. But this is exercise about connection. And Denise, you're a parenting coach. I mean, how often do you talk about the importance of connection?
Too much, maybe. Too much.
No, never enough. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's like if you're in doubt about anything, connect. Basically,
Yeah, exactly.
That's like long story short.
Right?
Connect.
Yeah. So I love this exercise because it gives us a very tangible way to connect with our kids. So if your child is in the room, great. If not, I'm going to guide you all on just a brief connection exercise. And you can do this just by imagining your child.
Okay.
So just taking a few breaths, closing your eyes again if your kid isn't there. And if they are, I invite you to just take a nice, warm, loving gaze and begin to watch your child. Noticing your breathing as you do this. Just imagine that you can watch your child right now, whether they're playing or sleeping, beginning to notice their movements. Imagining that you can actually feel the sensations in their body. What would it feel like inside my child's hand right now? What sort of thoughts are running through my baby's mind right now? Breathing. Seeing if you can watch your child just from a place of observation, from that place of unconditional love that we can all tap into, we were all gifted with as parents. Just breathing and watching your child. Watching them breathe. noticing now this connection that you have between you and your baby, simply from watching, listening, feeling. Taking a breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Still maintaining that connection as long as you're conscious, as long as you're able.
I really like how you said to get into kind of their sensations. I really like that, because like a lot of times another thing I always talk about is expressing empathy, right? So I always try to get into like their thoughts and, you know, what are they going through, what are they feeling, but never into like what are they feeling in the physical sense. So I really like that idea.
Yeah. And it just, I love that you immediately thought of empathy, because that's how I think of it too, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And it's just, to me, it's one of the most profound ways to connect, is to just feel what someone else is feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we can go on, but I'm trying to be mindful of everyone's time. So Char is actually going to come back again, just because another thing that came up while I was talking to her before we started going live was how another thing that can support my child through her anxiety is by helping her feel grounded. And this is actually another thing that Char does through her period again.
Through my work, yeah. We'll put that under the umbrella of energy work.
Yeah. So she's gonna come back, and we're gonna dive into what exactly does Char mean when she says energy work, because I'm not that sure either, and how we can also help ourselves and our children feel more grounded. So thank you so much, Char, for coming on and for coming back and for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. It was a really nice calming experience. And thank you to everyone who is watching. I forgot to check. Sorry, I'll just quickly check if there are comments. Okay, I didn't seem to miss anything. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about, please just leave a comment below and we'll get back to you. And if not, then we'll talk about it the next time we come on. Okay, and I will be back next Tuesday. So I'll see all of you then. Char has her parent and baby mindfulness. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I call it mindfulness with baby and small kids. Okay, but I've had people do it with their dogs and their inner child. So really everybody's welcome.
I like the inner child idea.
Oh, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's on Wednesdays at 1:30.
1:30, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. And I'll put everything in the video description as well. So thank you so much again for coming. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice weekend. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Thanks, Denise.